Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Ghost Stories episode. Tonight's story is called The Hat Ghost. I'm going to give a little context before I tell the story. I have always been obsessed with the paranormal. I loved reading ghost stories, listening to paranormal experiences from other people around the world. Anything I could get my hands on that was even remotely related to ghosts, I was hooked. While I've never seen a shadow figure or heard a voice, there has always been small things that would happen in my house that I can't explain. Maybe my door opening on its own, or just feeling like someone was in the room with me. That sort of stuff. However, this story, and just the way it connects, truly gives me an uneasy feeling to this day. My dad's side of the family is small compared to my mom's. He has one sister, and she has two daughters, one about 7 years older than me, and the other one 4 years older than me. When my older cousins was young, I want to say between 3 and 4, and my aunt was pregnant with my younger cousin, they were living in a different house than they currently do now. My older cousin was laying down with my aunt in her bedroom, TV off, magazine in hand, nothing abnormal or out of the blue. Then my cousin looks up into the doorway of my aunt's room and says that she sees a man. My aunt is confused because she doesn't see anyone. If you're super into paranormal stuff like I am, you know that younger or more innocent people are more likely to see things than the less innocent are able to. Of course, my aunt was confused, and my cousin was insistent that there was a man in the doorway of the room. My aunt asked my cousin to explain what the man looked like. He said the man was tall, wearing a suit and had a hat, specifically a fedora. I wasn't born when this happened, so this is a story that's been circulating around my family for a while now. Flash forward about 20 years or so. I was in middle school, and I'm home alone with my dad. I've lived in the same house my whole life, so the creepy experiences I've had in my house have become familiar, and they don't scare me anymore. However, this one night really got me nervous, and it was really out of the blue. I'm sitting in the TV room while my dad is in the kitchen, waiting for food to be delivered to the house. I got up from the TV room, walked into the kitchen, and my dad was sitting down, looking out the kitchen window. I assumed he was just watching the cars go by on our street. An important part of this story is the door that leads into my kitchen. We have a small set of steps that are out in the driveway, and they lead up to a glass door that sits in front of a heavy door on the inside of our house. The glass door was closed, but the wooden one was open, giving anyone sitting at the kitchen table a full view out into our driveway. I closed the wooden door because it was cold, and the glass door was so old that it didn't shut properly and would let in a draft. Immediately after I shut the door, my dad told me to open it. I was confused since the food wasn't here, and it's not like we were expecting anyone. I asked him why, and he said in a very normal tone that there was a man there. I told him that there wasn't anyone there and that he was freaking me out. He insists that he saw a man standing in front of the glass door, looking into the house. He then goes on to tell me that when I closed the door, he was gone. We live on a main road, so anyone passing by could easily come up to our door. However, with the layout of our house, in comparison to how our driveway is, it's simply impossible for there to be a person on our steps one minute and not there the next. I was freaked out by this point, and my dad was a jokester. He doesn't believe in ghosts, but hearing something like this come out of him was out of line. He then points out exactly how tall the man was and even what he looked like. He said he had dark skin, gray hair, and was wearing a suit and a hat, Shortly after he told me about this, I texted my mom because I was so freaked out. Later on, my dad came into the TV room to eat dinner with me. I asked him if he was really being serious about this whole thing, and he said he was. My cousin and my dad saw the same ghost, 20 years apart, and it really creeps me out. The one thing about the story is that I can't ask my dad about it now, as he died a few years after this happened. I've done some research, and apparently a ghost who wears a hat could be a sign of childhood trauma. But to my knowledge, my older cousin and dad haven't experienced any sort of significant trauma like that. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next episode.